All right. Do you go to the farmer's market every week? If so, this podcast episode is going to be really helpful because in it, I'm going to share a pre market weekly checklist that you can go through step by step before you head out there to make it more likely that you're going to hit your revenue goals. Are you ready to hear what it is? Let's get started.
Hey there, this is Corinna Bench, and welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast. In today's market, it's not enough to just grow your product. You've got to know how to sell it too. Welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast, where we reveal online marketing strategies and tips to help farmers like you get better and more confident at marketing. Learn how to find more customers, increase your sales, and build a strong brand for your farm.
Let's start the show. Well, welcome to episode 371 of the My Digital Farmer podcast. I'm your host, Corinna Bench, one of the farmers at Shared Legacy Farms out in Elmore, Ohio. I'm also the founder of mydigitalfarmer.com, which is all about trying to help other farmers like you get more confident in your marketing and sales strategy so that you can grow a profitable business. How's everyone doing today? Big shout out to all of my regular binge listeners. Welcome back to the show. If you're new to the podcast, I'm glad you're here. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Go check out my first 10 episodes. They were designed to be an on-ramp into the marketing lingo, really helpful. Or you can just scroll through the archives. I have over 350 different topics. Something might jump out at you. Would love to have you become a fan. If you want to get onto my email list, I will send you a weekly email of this podcast, but I've also got a kind of an onboarding email sequence that I'll send your way that's going to basically teach you the ropes of marketing. Each email builds on the next and shares the framework with you. I give you some resources, some freebies, people you should be following. That's really good, and it's free. So if you need to learn some marketing, that's the thing to do. Subscribe at mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. Today's podcast is sponsored by my friends at Local Line. If you run a CSA, sell direct or wholesale, or manage all three, summer is when it all happens at once. Packed markets, weekly CSA boxes, and a harvest that keeps coming. Local Line helps you handle your busiest season with less stress and more control. In 2025, farms and food hubs using Local Line grew their sales by 33%, with average order values up 31%. That's real results across operations of all sizes on the platform. Local Line brings everything together in one platform: CSA management, wholesale ordering, automated inventory, box builder, and POS. Run all your direct channels from the same place, whether that's your CSA, market sales, a farm stop, or a food hub. And through their marketplace partnerships now, you can reach chefs and buyers nationwide through Cisco, Gordon Food Service, and US Foods with a low barrier to entry. Switching is easy too. There are no setup fees, no sales commissions, and their team will migrate your storefront for free even mid-season, and it only takes a few days. As a podcast listener, you'll get one premium feature free for a full year when you use my coupon code MDF2026 at checkout. So head to mydigitalfarmer.com/local line, all one word, and then enter that coupon code MDF2026 at checkout. Make the most of peak season with Local Line. It's streamlined, it's efficient, and it's built for growth. And now back to the show. Well, today has been an emotional day for me. I am recording this on July 7th, and I just put my son on the airplane to go to basic training. And for any of you moms and dads out there who have ever put any of your children onto the plane that's going to military service, you know how I'm feeling right now. This is our firstborn too, and so this is the first time we have one of our kids formally leaving the nest. We still have a sophomore, Josiah, following behind him. And I thought I was going to be okay. I'd been dealing with it pretty well for the last few weeks, and I was a little surprised at how emotionally wrecked I've been for the last 24 hours. I feel his absence in our home. The things that he usually does, the places that he takes up, the activities that he's performing, he's just not there to do them. And so it just makes me notice it and reflect on how I know he's going through a challenging time here in the next 7 weeks. So I'm in a very tender spot. This is the day that I'm supposed to record my podcast. And I just thought to myself, I feel emotionally drained. And I don't know if I can show up here with innovation and creativity. So I was thinking about what are my options? And one of the ideas that came to me was, you know what? I could do a rebroadcast. I could think about some of the amazing podcasts that I've created over the last few years and pick out some of my favorites and just put it back here for your listening enjoyment. I think sometimes we forget that content can be repurposed, and there's a lot of really good stuff in these archives. The one that I chose was all about how to sell more at the farmer's market. And I know that many of you are in the thick of that right now, and this felt like a timely topic. And I'm going to share a weekly checklist that you can go through before you show up at the market to help you be more prepared and make it more likely that you will go away, leave the market having sold more. So walking away with more revenue. At least that's my hope. So I hope that for those of you who are new to my world, this may be a brand new podcast. If you've been around with me for a while, you may have heard it before, but I think the stuff in here is still just as good. And sometimes hearing it a second time can re-inspire you. There is a really good resource that I mentioned in here in the podcast that I want to make you aware of. And basically, I take this entire episode of the checklist of items and I put them all into a PDF guide. So if you want to get that, if you want to download the list I'm going to go through so that you can just print it out and then use it as a checklist every week before you go to market, make sure you've done these things. You can get that at mydigitalfarmer.com/sales checklist, all one word. That's mydigitalfarmer.com/sales checklist. So I'm going to hop over now to the episode recording from a few years ago. And if it sounds a little bit dated at times, please give me some grace. And I hope you find a lot of value again in this really great episode.
Okay, so this was me sitting down with a little checklist, writing out some thoughts. I'm sure I'm missing some really big ones. But these are some things that we used to do when we went to the markets before we left. And frankly, some of the things we didn't really do, and I wish that we had, that I've since learned. And, you know, some of these things are things you might already know, but some of them might be new ideas that you might want to give a try. Now, I didn't include things that are obvious pieces of advice that you probably already know, like stack them high, watch them fly, like the idea of just loading up a bunch of product in huge stacks because it looks abundant. People are more likely to buy when your booth looks like that. Or common sense things like get off your phone. Don't be looking at your phone while you're at the market. Make eye contact with people, stand up, be personable, make conversation. Like, I'm not going to say stuff like that. Instead, I'm going to kind of share some more, strategic things that require a little bit of pre-planning and thought. Okay, so without further ado, let's knock it out. Number one is to get your weekly special offer ready. I feel like every single week at the farmer's market, there should be either a featured item that you point to or some kind of featured sale or quote unquote offer. Maybe you have a special bundle or a special pricing thing, or spend $50 and get $5 off, or spend $50 and get a free lemonade at Ackerman's Berries over on the other side of the market, and create like a little affiliate partnership there. This is where you get to play with all the different styles of offers that are out there. If you want to explore what some of those different offers could be, I encourage you to sign up for my
free coupon code challenge, which is going on during the entire month of June. You can subscribe by going to mydigitalfarmer.com/coupon code. This is really fun. Basically, we're exploring the different uses of coupon code formulas and styles. And in the process, you're kind of getting exposed to the different types of offers that you could run. So even if you don't use coupon codes at the farmer's market, doing this challenge will show you some of these different offer styles that you could use at a market setting. So I want to encourage you to sign up for that if you haven't already. It's a live challenge, but when you subscribe, you'll get a weekly email for 4 weeks in a row. Every week I give you 2 new coupon codes, and then you're challenged to use one of them in an offer. And in the process, you learn the different offers along the way. So just want to make you aware of that. So number 1 is just get a weekly special offer ready. I actually think it's a good idea to have the special offer for the next week kind of on deck as well, because as I will explain in a moment, I recommend that you tell your customers at the point of sale about the next week's special offer so that they know what's on deck and they're maybe incentivized to come back the next week to buy again. So if you sort of always have the next 2 offers ready in the bag, that helps you lure them back in. Number 2 is to know your gateway product. Make sure that you've got enough of your gateway product ready and you've told your sales team, we lead with the gateway product. This is for brand new customers who have never shopped with you before, who are coming to your booth and they're like a little overwhelmed and they don't know what you're known for. And so if your staff is aware that this is a new customer, they can kind of pick up on the body language, then they know, oh, I lead with the gateway offer. So I've run into farmers who don't have a clear gateway offer. They're not even aware of such a thing. And they kind of randomly suggest different things when they're at the booth. And it's just good to know, hey, this is the thing that most people love. Most people start here and have a good experience with it. So if I sense that someone is confused, I'm going to lead with the gateway offer. So maybe you already know what this is and you're already doing that. Awesome. But for those of you who have never heard of this idea, I want you to come up with your gateway offer, target it, nail it, know what it is, teach it to your team, and then let them know this is what we start with. This is where we guide customers who are brand new. This is how we start them in our business, and you lead with it. Along with that, have your upsell ready. So these are kind of go hand in hand. So know your gateway product and have your upsell ready before you show up at the market. Know what it is that you're going to try and pitch as an upsell after someone has already said yes to something else. So they're at the point of sale, they're ready to check out, and you have a little speech ready and you're saying, hey, would you like to try XYZ? Would you like some fries with that, right? So what is that item for you? It might change from week to week depending on what you have in season, or maybe it's something that goes along with something they've already kind of put into their checkout cart with you, and you can tell, oh, this product would go really well with this item, and you mentioned that. So maybe you have a kind of a handful of upsells ready based on various situations and variations of customers, but that's definitely something you want to have ready. Okay, number 3, I'm going to say this, collect an email list. So bring along your little spiral notebook if that's how you're doing it, or if you're going to set up, maybe you have a little banner that has a QR code on it that leads people to the subscribe form, or maybe you just have a process at checkout where you ask people, can we put you on your email list? Or are you on our email list? Can I put you on it? And they have a chance to enter it at the checkout point. But make sure you have some kind of a process that you bring along with you. It's a part of your workflow to collect an email list, because this is how you get more customers to come back and become repeat buyers. This is how you communicate your special offers to them every week. This is how you build relationship with them and connection so that they start to see you as one of their primary farmers.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Farm Marketing School, my monthly membership for farmers. Before we dive back into the episode, I want to speak to a very specific kind of farmer for a second. If you're a year or 2 into your business and things are working, but your marketing still feels kind of scattered, like you're posting, you're sending some emails, you're running promotions, but it all feels disconnected and you're not sure what's actually driving sales, I just want to say that's not a lack of effort. That's just a lack of structure. Because most farmers don't need more ideas. What they need is a system that connects everything together. And that's exactly why I built Farm Marketing School. Inside, I teach you how to actually design your marketing so that it works like a machine, a system, not a bunch of random tactics. We map out your full customer journey. We build your email engine. We create intentional promotions and product pathways. So your marketing starts handing off from one piece to the next like a relay race instead of you running every leg yourself. And we do it through 30-day project builds. So you're not just learning about marketing, you're actually finishing things. You're actually building the marketing assets in your marketing machine, your sales funnel, your promotions, your lead magnet, your weekly email rhythm, all your marketing assets. And that's when the shift happens. Marketing starts to feel lighter. The flywheel starts to spin. Sales start to feel more predictable. And you finally feel like, okay, I'm on the right track. I know what I'm doing. If that's what you've been longing for and what you've been missing, then I want to invite you to join Farm Marketing School just for a month. Come inside and see what it's all about. You can learn more at mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS. And now back to the show.
Okay, number 4. This one's kind of fun. Identify an impulse buy that you can put right at the checkout, right at the register or wherever you check out. There was a story that I recently heard, and I cannot remember where I heard this. So I wish I could give credit. It was on a podcast, but it was a story about a business that threw out a basket of mints. They were like 10 cents each at the checkout. And they actually ended up making a lot of money on the mints because they would just say, hey, you want to throw in a few mints? Or people would just kind of see it and they'd be like 10 cents, whatever. And they would grab like a handful and throw it in to the bag. Now, I'm not saying it should be mints, okay? But is there something like that that's really low ticket that feels like an easy thing to just throw into the order because all those little small amounts begin to add up over the course of many months, and you may find that your impulse buy item is a nice little extra pocket change. So that's another kind of easy thing to play around with. What could that item be? Just make sure it's really close to the point where they actually check out and it's got a nice little sign on it and your team mentions it in the process of checking out. Okay, number 5, train your team how to practice mirroring. So if you don't know what this is, I want you to go listen to episode 232, how to use mirroring to close more sales. And this is a sales technique that's actually taught to salespeople in the big wide corporate world for how to get more people to say yes. It's a lot of like psychology, a lot of body language, and subconscious kind of stuff. And so I thought it was really interesting when I learned it. I don't do all of them, but sometimes I do leverage a few of them. And I just think it's interesting to know. So go listen to that episode and see if you want to experiment with some of those techniques that they talk about in there. Okay, number 6. I'm breezing through these. Put your prices on your signs. Okay, I know that seems obvious, but there are people who don't do that. You are losing customers because your customer, as they scan your booth, they are looking to see what is it price? Like what table are we playing at here? And they're going to decide whether or not to come closer or keep walking. And if you don't even have the price on there, then it just feels awkward because they don't want to have to come and actually ask you how much does that cost, right? That creates a point of friction. So put the prices on your signs. But I also wanted to say here, just invest in some time to create some clear signage every week. Don't just pull out the same old ones from week to week. Make sure they look nice. Make sure they're easy to read, easy to see from far away. And also make sure that you're making new signs each week that describe your special offer. Because we want to kind of feature your special offer or your gateway product or your upsell, right? So make sure that you've got signage that points to those things and makes it easy for people to discover them on their own. Okay, number 7, give them an incentive to come back. Now, if you haven't been listening to the show for very long, I'm here to tell you that the way that you make your money in your business is on the repeat sales, not on the first-time customer sale. Your goal as a business owner is, yes, to attract new customers, but you actually want to spend more of your time trying to get those customers to come back and buy again and again and again. So we need to come up with incentives to coach them to return so that it turns into a buying habit, right? So this process of coming to the market and coming to your booth becomes a part of their weekly habit. And that requires training. It's sort of like, training your children how to eat, training your children how to go to the bathroom, training your dog how to obey your signals, right? You have to train your customer. So here's some examples of things that you might do that could qualify as incentives. You could give them a physical coupon for next week that explains what the offer of the week is going to be next week. It could be a coupon that has a coupon code on it that they can go and use in your online store to pre-order something that they have to pick up next week. And that's the only way that they can get that coupon code. You could also say, hey, I'm going to have XYZ product next week. Would you like to pre-order it now? We'll just throw it on your order, and then I'll make sure that you have it next week because I'm only bringing a small select number and I'm only going to bring it if they're pre-ordered. You could try that, see if that causes people to buy. Okay. You're just trying to create a reason for them to have to come back next time. So experiment, think about what some of those different kinds of offers could be. I know there are several examples of those in the coupon code challenge coming up. If you want to subscribe to that, you'll get exposed to some other ideas on that. Number 8, have your checkout speech ready. Well, not just your checkout speech, it could be your sales speech too. So whenever you have a customer coming up to you at the booth, sometimes it's crazy, right? And there's like 10 people all at once and there isn't like one specific spot they all go to. They're kind of stretched out along this big line of tables. I get it. But you want to have like 3 or 4 things or 2 or 3 things that your team knows they always say to every customer in a certain order. So maybe it's like when somebody first walks up to the table, you make sure that your team leads with, hey, so glad you're here. Welcome. Today's offer of the day is XYZ, right? So they lead with this little speech of here's what we have on sale today, or here's what our special is today, or here's the special offer. This is just like when you walk into any other kind of retail store, like brick and mortar, sometimes they have someone standing there who greets you and then just says, hey, I just want to make sure you know today all dresses are on sale 20% off, right? And then you just kind of take that information in and it may make you decide to shop for a dress, right? Something like that. So you need to have that opening offer ready. That's in the speech. Make sure they know the upsell so that they're ready to upsell as part of the speech at the right time. Make sure they know what to say as they're checking out, like, hey, next week the offer is going to be this. Hope you can come back. Maybe that's part of the speech. And then, are you on our email list? Would you like to be on our email list? If the person can tell that they haven't subscribed yet. Okay, so those are at the very least some of the things to consider putting in that speech, but get clear on what that is, write it down on a little note card, share it with your team, and make sure they're doing it. Now, it's going to take a while if your team has never done this before for them to get into this rhythm, but you really need to kind of get this into their head that this is important. These are little triggers, these coachable sentences and phrases kind of coach our customer to the next conversion. So we really want to be using them. Okay, number 9, try to get people to pre-order your produce. So I just want to encourage those of you who haven't done this yet to consider getting an online store and playing around with it this coming season as a means to get people to pre-order your stuff for pickup at the market. You can set up pickup locations. and order deadlines, and just start coaching your people. Hey, it's great. I love that you come here every week and shop from me here live. But if you want kind of guaranteed product and you want to see an even greater inventory, because I can't bring it all here, then you can go to my online store, pre-order your stuff by such and such deadline every week, and I'll have that stuff guaranteed for you here when you come to the market next weekend. It is a beautiful way to kind of guarantee sales, especially then if you have, bad weather at the market. Your customer is already pre-ordered, and so they have to come anyway and come get it. And so you're still making revenue that way. Plus, this is something I didn't realize until we started doing it. They end up often spending more because not only do they come and pick up their pre-order, but while they're there grabbing the bags from you, they see something else there on the table and they're like, oh, that looks really good. And they say, throw in another couple carrots. And, now you've just made more money. I know some of you are skeptical, but I guess I want to encourage you to pilot project this. Maybe just try it out on a free platform like Square, for instance, and just do it for 2 months and see if you don't notice a difference. See if you can kind of build it into your workflow. It does require you then to have a process in place for pre-packing that stuff in advance. That is extra work, but once you build that workflow into place, it kind of becomes a rhythm of your farm. You can kind of see if this is worth it. Another idea here is to give somebody a fridge magnet that has that URL link on it or that has a QR code on it so that they can take that home, and then whenever they're inspired, I need to order XYZ, it's easy for them to go to the online store. They can find the link really fast and they can place their pre-order. Another idea that I sometimes share inside of Farm Marketing School with my members is to hold back a popular item. So let's just say bacon flies off the shelf when you show up at the market and you usually sell out in the first hour. You could try this. I know this is going to make some of you nervous, but if you just try it for 1 or 2 weeks where you don't let people be able to buy that item when they're at the market, they can only get that super popular item if they pre-order it. Just something to play with, because now all of a sudden you've created a mandatory pathway that requires them to go to the online store in order to get it or to pre-order it. And while they're in that online store, they'll buy other things, and you begin to build the habit of pre-ordering, right? That's kind of the goal here. Is we want to encourage more people to create that buying habit, so that that just makes your life easier, because now you've got guaranteed pre-sales, but they'll also come and spend more money once they come and pick it up from you. So you make even more revenue. So that's kind of a little trick to play around with. It can be very effective. You got to get the product just right, but that can work in your advantage. Okay, I've got 3 more. Number 10, make sure you're advertising your special offer 1 or 2 days before you actually go to the market on your various marketing channels. I know this seems obvious, but I feel like I need to say it. You're going to sell more if you send an email out to your list to say, hey, here's what I'm going to have at the market, or here's what the special is, or here's what our offer is, or here's the coupon code that you can use before 6 p.m. tonight in our online store to pre-order to get 10% off, to incentivize the pre-order, whatever. The more you do this pre-advertising, the more revenue you will make, the more people will show up. If you don't want to do email, if you prefer texting, I think texting probably has a better return, actually. You could use SMS and text your customer list. Okay, this is why we want to be collecting an email list, because now you can talk directly to your customer, let them know what's going on. Or if you have a sudden special announcement, or suddenly some really cool thing has come into stock the night before and you want everyone to know because it's so cool, or you only have a limited number of them and you want to make sure they aren't disappointed. They have to get there early to get it. This allows you to reach out and tell them that. Okay, number 11, look for ways to increase your average order value. This isn't really like a tactical tip. It's more just like a point, and you're going to have to figure out the strategy to get there. But I want to just remind you that the way that you make more money in your business is by getting your customers to come back for repeat purchases, right? To increase the lifetime customer value. The more times they come and spend with you, the more money you're going to make on that customer. But another way you can make money is by increasing the amount they spend every time they do buy from you. That's called the average order value. So you have to ask yourself, what do you want people spending each time? And it's different for every kind of farm business. Like a vegetable grower is probably going to have a lower average order value than maybe a meat producer would. So, for me, I think my average order value in the store can fluctuate between $18 and I want to say $25, $30 in that range, depending on the time of year. But for a meat producer, you guys might be more like in the, $100 range is where you want people to land if you've got a premium product there. So some of the different ways that you can get the AOV to go higher are to create these different kinds of offers like I was talking about to encourage them to spend more. Like, hey, if you spend $50 or you spend $100, you're going to get a free pack of bacon or whatever. Maybe you only give the bacon as a freebie if they spend $100. Ooh, there's another way to take a very popular product and limit it. If you want to do some kind of a kit, like bundle certain products together that go together, instead of them having to come up with the idea to bundle them, you already pre-bundle them. Or maybe you have, hey, these are our favorite starter chicken cuts, and you've already got them pre-bundled, and they're going to go off and start their journey with you with the best of what you have to offer. Okay, so look for ways to increase your average order value and come up with strategies to get them to buy more things. And then finally, number 12, make sure you're keeping records and notes of your sales. So when you go home from the market, take like 5 or 10 minutes and just jot down what you noticed about the day. What was the weather like? How were the crowds? Was there any special event going on at the market that would have drawn crowds? Was there positives and negatives? What were the big hot selling items? What was your special of the week? Make a note of that so that next year when you build your promotion plan, you can go back and kind of be reminded of the different things you did. What were the surprising things that flew off the shelf? Where did you make the most money? What didn't move? Yeah, just kind of write some quick notes down. And this is going to give you a lot of really good data and allow you to pivot and optimize as you go through the season. But I find it's really helpful to have that for the next year when I'm getting started again and I'm like, oh, what can I anticipate happening again? Or what were some of the good ideas I had last year that maybe I forgot about, right? I can go back and skim that little journal and see what I wrote down.
All right, there you have it. That was my list of 12 things to make sure you do before you head to the farmer's market. Remember, if you want to get the whole thing in a checklist form, you can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/sales checklist. And it'll be right there. You can print it out, laminate it, and use it every week. Today's show notes can be found at mydigitalfarmer.com/371. And if you like today's episode, please share it with a farmer friend or go and leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you are listening to this. I'd really appreciate that. It helps more people find out about the show organically. And if you want to get onto my email list, remember I have some free stuff to send your way to make your marketing even stronger. You can get that by going to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. All right, that's all I got today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an amazing week, everyone. Take that list, go to the market this weekend, and use it. Tell me what happens. Remember, I believe in you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.